Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Family and Friends updates. Thank you for joining us today. The snowing days are upon us, and hopefully the changing temperatures will not stop us from enjoying all that life has to offer. Once again, a warm welcome to you all. My name is Petronila Ndebele, and I'm the Director of Strategic Communications and Stakeholder Relations. I'll be facilitating today's program. And before we proceed, I would like to begin by giving the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty is signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. We also acknowledge that we are all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as migrants either in this generation or in generations past, and those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. Today, we pay tribute to the ancestors of those of African and indigenous origin and descent. With November marking the Indigenous Disability Awareness Month, it is also a time to celebrate the contributions of Indigenous persons with disabilities. This month gives us the opportunity to reflect on how we can support inclusion and accessibility, raise awareness, and work together to break down barriers faced by Indigenous people with disabilities. We also note that November 5th to 11th was Treaties Recognition Week, an opportunity to learn more about the treaties and agreements between First Nations and the federal and provincial governments. We are all treaty people, and recognition extends to other 51 weeks of the year for all of us. On another note, today marks the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. It is also the beginning of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Empirical evidence shows that women and girls with an intellectual disability are at risk of human trafficking. Once again, welcome everyone. It is great to be here with all of you. And before we begin, a few housekeeping items to address. We ask that you use the chat function to make a comment or ask a question. Kindly let Mita Hans know if you're experiencing any technical issues. And I'm sure Mita has already put her details in the chat. So please feel free to connect with her if you're experiencing any technical issues. On your screen is our agenda for today. We are going to have updates from our Friendly Connections team, as well as our community participation supports and respect team. And in our Community Unplugged segment, Brad Sanders, our CEO, will have a conversation with one of our CLTO influencers, Mary. We will conclude today's session with a video on International Day of Persons with Disabilities, featuring some of our CLTO influencers. And now I would like to invite Amanda Watson, Community Engagement Coordinator, to shed some light on Friendly Connections. Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Betty. Hi, everyone. My name's Amanda, and I'm the new Community Engagement Coordinator for the Central Region at Community Living Toronto. And we just wanted to give you a quick update and insight on our Friendly Connections program that runs here. So, Friendly Connections is a fun and interactive service for people of all ages to connect. It started during COVID to help people not feel isolated while being alone in their homes. And one great thing about it is that you don't have to be located right in Toronto to join. Because it's virtual, we have people joining from all over the place. So we offer a couple of different opportunities. First, we have our bi-weekly group Zoom calls. So every 2 weeks, a large group of us meets over a video chat. And right now we have around like 20 attendees that shows up every 2 weeks, but there's a lot of people signed up for that. And it's a great way to connect with others and share our thoughts and what's going on in our day-to-day lives. And a popular topic right now is movies. We love to share movies that we've been watching. and give each other some good recommendations of some other movies to watch. So it's a good time. And although each week is a different conversation, we're all eager to learn and share everything that's going on in our day-to-day lives and like anything that's on our minds. And it's a very supportive environment. Next week, we're actually doing a virtual holiday party. So we decided we're going to wear our Christmas sweaters and our holiday pajamas. And for on the call, we're going to play some games and stuff. So it'll be fun. We also have our personalized letters and postcards, which get sent out twice a month via email by the lovely Gina. Gina loves reading the messages from all the individuals and writes these really amazing and thoughtful letters back to them. So it's a really, really great thing we offer. And lastly, we offer coloring and activity sheets with different themes twice a month as well. And so you can get those sent directly to your address, and that's something fun to do as well. So next we have a video from Jasmine, who is from the Friendly Connections bi-weekly Zoom calls. And yeah.
My name is Jasmine Gavin, and I like Friendly Connections because I met some new people, and they're all friendly, they're all nice, and it has helped me get through my day. It has cheered me up. It's really cool to meet new people and be friends with them from different states and different places. And I really enjoy it because it gives me something to do.
So if you are interested or know someone that would be interested, to sign up, you visit connectability.ca/friendly-connections with another slash, and scroll down to the end of the page until you see a large green sign up button. And from there, you just click it and it will ask you to put in your information and answer a few questions on which opportunities that you would like to be connected with. And then you just click submit. So we really hope and encourage you to join that. It's a really fun time for everyone to get connected and stay connected and meet some fun people. And yeah, that's all we got.
Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate the work that is being done by the team of helping our community to overcome isolation. Thank you so much. And with that, I welcome Heather Dunn, Senior Program Manager, Community Participation Supports and Respite, to provide an update on upcoming holiday mini sessions. Heather, over to you.
Thanks, Betty. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Dunn, and I'm the Senior Program Manager for Community Participation Supports and Respite at Community Living Toronto. And I'm really happy to be with you today to share with you what's new and exciting with community participation supports. So we had some celebrations during the month of October and into the beginning of November, where we had great opportunities to have some live music into a couple of our different locations. These were mix events. So over the course of the past year, we have expanded our mix events. You'll see them posted in our community advertisements that we send out. And we really want to make it a welcome environment where everybody comes out and has a great time. The mix event at the top was our holiday Halloween party, where we had Faded Jeans come out and do a great musical entertainment for us. Lots of people dressed up and had a really great time, and all of the proceeds for that event went to United Way. And we also had another brand new event that we had for the first time at Advance Road, where we also had a live band come in and do a similar but smaller venue event at Advance Road, and it was a hit. It was the first time we've done it, and just had a really great time and raised quite a few funds for United Way at that event as well. So stay tuned. Keep your eye out for those posters that come out. They're welcome for all, and there's a small fee attached to all of the mix events. This was a great opportunity, just sharing with you. We had a wonderful visit on November 18th. We had the board come out and join us at our Community Junction location. Our program supervisor, Charmaine Palmer, and manager Melanie Hooker, alongside our community welcoming ambassadors, Amelia and Lindsay, showed the board around Community Junction and talked to them about what activities that they love to do. And also just really had an opportunity to share what makes Community Junction feel special to them, and all the fun things they like to do there. This is one of our new, fun, exciting little flyer that we have. We have a mini session that's happening right now. It's a special, just hot off the press and now available for registration. These events will be happening. It's a mini session for the winter. It will just be running from December 2nd to the 20th. We wanted to make sure that we had some really fun and awesome opportunities for people to come out and enjoy some musical and art adventures over the next 3 weeks. These are fee-for-service options, and they can always, as always, be registered through My Community Hub. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to the program supervisor or manager. This is, we always like to share this with people because people like to know what's happening in community participation support. And we did launch a website where you can find all the things that are new and exciting about CPS and Respite. You can go in, you'll see the most up-to-date information, news, and resources for people to be able to just click and check things out. You can register right from our website, and you can also, if you're not sure how to register on My Community Hub, maybe it's new to you, can access a quick, easy how-to video. We also wanted to provide another update for you on our relocation of Lawson Children's Respite Program and update you about our interim location at 28 McMillan Avenue in Scarborough. So the relocation plans are well underway, and we're progressing as we had planned to do. We are actually taking a hold on our intakes for Lawson at this time, just because it is a transition period, but we're honoring all of the reservations that people have made up until the end of January at Lawson. We have had we will have to do new intake at the McMillan Children's Respite Program. So anybody who is interested and hasn't already let us know, please do reach out to us and let us know that you are interested in pursuing that McMillan Children's Respite Program intake process. And we'll do our best. The Respite Choices team will do our best to help you and make that as smooth and seamless as possible. We will be making sure that the people who are currently enrolled within our program at Lawson Children's Respite are having first priority to get those intakes completed. So please rest assured. Here's a sneak peek at some of the progress that we've been making at the McMillan location, just to give you a sense of what that location looks like. It is in a beautiful residential area in the east end of Scarborough. The colors that were selected are really fun and vibrant. There's a beautiful area outside too for kids to have play area and place to roam around a little bit outside. And we're also very close to some local parks and community centers. So just wanted to share a little bit about the progress of the McMillan, the Lawson to McMillan relocation, and let people know that if you have any questions or would like to have some additional information, you're always welcome to reach out. And you can reach out to myself, Heather Dunn, or the program manager, Derek Feltz. Our phone numbers and emails are here for you. And you can always, like I mentioned, you can always reach out to our CPS microsite. We always post any new letters that go out to families or any new information that we have available. It's kept up to date on that microsite. Thank you very much for having me today, and I'll pass it back to you. Petty, thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. It is always uplifting to see the programs available in our community and Respite Choices that provide parents, caregivers with the well-earned breaks they deserve. A heartfelt thanks to the team for making these supports possible. They indeed make a difference in the lives of many. Thank you so much, Heather and the team. It is time now for our Community Unplugged session, and I would like to welcome Mary, one of New CLTO's influencers. Mary is passionate about raising awareness for autism, and she's an advocate for accessibility, driven by her commitment to creating an inclusive environment for everyone. And we'll hear why these issues are so close to Mary's heart. Brad, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to this.
Excellent. Me too. Me too. You are featured in our annual report. Your story's in there. And we've met a couple times, but I didn't know a lot about your background and history and your story until reading that. We've had a chance to talk since then. It's you've got quite the journey that you're going to share with us over the next 20 minutes or so.
Absolutely.
Great. Maybe we can start. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Mary?
Mary, I was married and I have 2 sons. My oldest son was diagnosed with ADHD, and my youngest son was diagnosed with PDD, pervasive developmental disorder, and OS.
Mm-hmm. So PDD is often sometimes referred to as autism or sort of on the autism spectrum. Is that fair?
Yes. He's on the autism spectrum, but he's very high functioning.
Great.
And he also has artistic features.
Great. So now you've got a ton of hobbies that you're involved with, and family's quite important to you. So maybe tell how does that fit into your life? What are your hobbies?
Oh, my hobbies are I play the accordion. I've played since I was
Now, for not
9 years old.
everybody that knows, what is an accordion? Describe so we're all thinking about the same thing.
It's like a piano,
Yeah.
but you have your left hand and you have the keyboard, and you have to go back and forth like that, and you have to do 2 hands at the same time.
So there was a bunch of buttons at one end and a keyboard at the other.
Yes.
So I'm of an age.
It's the bass on the left side and the keyboard on the right.
Oh, see, I didn't know that was the distinction with the accordion. I'm of an age that I grew up watching SCTV, and they had the polka guy, and John Candy used to play an accordion. So that's you've been playing that for a while? Since
I was 9 years old.
Oh wow. You'll have to you didn't bring it with you, did you?
No.
Well, you'll have to entertain us at some point.
Absolutely.
At some point with that. That's very cool. And you what other hobbies do you have?
I love knitting and crocheting. I'm actually involved in the foster clubhouse.
Okay.
And then the influencer, and I also run a knitting class at the community junction once a week.
Great. Excellent. So maybe just to dive in a little bit to your story, and we'll just your story is, again, like I said, quite the journey. Mm-hmm. So in 2013, you had a pretty significant accident. People can't see this because you're on camera, but you're in a wheelchair.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Can you talk about your accident and what happened there?
Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit before the
yeah, please.
Okay, my husband was diagnosed with limbic encephalitis, and what that is that he had multiple seizures that go unnoticed, and they felt that he had cancer in the antibodies, but they couldn't detect it.
Right.
It never surfaced. But the more seizure he had, the more damage it done to the brain. So eventually I ended up having to put him in an adult day program because I just couldn't leave him alone at home. So on November the 6th, 2013, I had put him in the day program. And we were living in a 2-bedroom house at the time. And I asked my youngest son to take the recycling bins out, but he didn't want to. So when I picked up my husband from the day program, we came home, and I asked him, I said, can you bring the bins out? So we had a back porch, and he brought the bin to the back porch, and I would empty the recycling bins inside the house.
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm going to go outside and help him. So I went out the back porch. I went down 2 steps. The 3rd step, my right foot got caught underneath the step.
Oh,
When I fell, I landed on my right leg, but I hit the left arm. So I fractured my right knee and fractured my left wrist.
oh wow. You've told that to me a few times now, and every time you describe that accident, it makes me cringe. So I can only imagine what it was like. So that was a pretty traumatic accident
Yeah,
for you.
that,
And yeah, please go ahead.
and I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah. You didn't think anything of it.
No, because my husband tried to pick me up.
Oh wow.
I
So
thought I was fine. I thought, I didn't do anything.
right. So when did you find out that it was more serious than that?
When I couldn't get up and they called 911 and they had to split my right leg and split my left arm and sent me to the hospital. They put a cast on my left arm and they put a splint on my right leg. And then they said that I'm going to be in the hospital for 2 weeks and then I would have to go into a convalescent home for 3 months.
Wow. So that's you're maintaining a household, you've got two kids, you've got a husband, you've got a lot going on. There's a lot of change going on. So how did that news hit you?
It was really was hard because I had to put my youngest son in a respite home, which he went to Harold Lawson. I had to put my husband into a respite home. And the problem was these places kept telling me that they couldn't stay very long,
Right.
that they had to go back home. So after a month when I was at the convalescent home, where my husband was, they told me he can't stay here anymore. He has to go home. I said, well, nobody's there who's going to look after him. Well, he can't stay here.
Wow.
So I went into a panic mode because I'm in a convalescent home. I can't do anything. And I just flipped out. I couldn't handle it.
Oh no.
I couldn't absorb it. It was just too much because I didn't expect something like that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's everything changed so quickly. That was a lot to deal with. Plus you're dealing with your own health issues, being unable to move as well as you used to. And so and they talked about you going to a convalescent home or a place to recover for a few months, but it actually turned out to be a lot longer journey than that. What happened next?
Okay, well, they told me that eventually I would be walking out of there. That's what the goal was. I was going to walk out of there with a cane.
Right.
But when the bone specialist looked at my leg, they said that the lower part of my leg went out like that.
Oh,
So, which means I couldn't walk.
right.
So they told me I had to wear this special splint for 2 years, and what would happen?
2 years. Wow.
The knee would go out, and the bottom of my leg would come in to line up again.
Okay.
But the problem was, where was I going to go?
Right.
I couldn't stay in the. So the idea was a long-term care home, or I spend thousands and thousands of dollars turning my house into a handicap, like widening the walls and putting a ramp outside and lowering stuff. And I didn't
not really practical or affordable. Yeah.
Because I didn't think there was funding out there, and so I didn't want to spend the money. So
yeah.
so
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Where did you end up moving to?
Into a long-term care home.
And that was you were hoping or maybe expecting that would be a short-term kind of stay.
No, I wasn't expecting to go
Okay.
into a long-term care home.
No, but when you did go in, were you expecting it to be for a long time or for a short time, or did you have that? What was in your mind there?
I was expecting it to be a couple of months, and I was
Couple of months.
gonna get out of there, but
And a couple of months turned into how long?
8 years.
So you went from falling down your back steps to going into the hospital for a bit of time to recover to spending 8 years in a long-term care home.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And during this time, you've got your husband and your kids, and they're obviously not with you, and they were living elsewhere, and you were unable to support them in the same way.
Yeah, yeah, because my youngest son was here in Scarborough,
Right.
and I'm in Etobicoke, and my husband's in Etobicoke, so we were all scattered
All over the place. That's a lot, Mary. That's a lot to have gone through. I can't imagine what it was like in sort of 2013, 2014, having such a shift from being all together as a family to suddenly having things thrown into chaos.
Yeah, and the worst part was nobody was supporting me.
Right.
I was totally on my own dealing with it.
Right. Wow. So you're in a long-term care home from 2013. And then you would have been in a long-term care home when COVID came.
Yes.
And which long-term care homes, I know people remember, but were some of the most impacted places in the province around COVID and outbreaks. And there were a lot of deaths, a lot of illness. What was that like living in a long-term care home when that was going on?
Oh my God, it was devastating because when it first came out, it was a Saturday, I think just after Ford government announced that everything was shutting down.
Right.
And visitors came to the home on that Saturday. And the administrator turned around and said that they all had to leave. They couldn't be, that we were under a lockdown. And
Right.
my youngest son had come to visit me and they sent him home. They
Oh,
told
wow.
me it was not allowed, and he didn't understand what was going on.
No.
How do you explain to a child that has autism that we're all in isolation?
Yeah. And so you spent that would have been in, I guess, 2020. You talked about, how devastating it was in that long-term care home. What happened?
Okay, well, after that, they didn't separate us right away until people started to get COVID.
Right.
When the residents started getting COVID, then they said, okay, every floor has to stay on their floor. They can't be together anymore. And then by the end of April, there was like 20 people that had COVID. So then they isolated us in our room and told us we weren't allowed to leave our room.
Right.
And then they started testing everybody
Right.
to see how COVID. And the first 2 weeks of May, I ended up having COVID.
Oh, wow.
And there was 23 residents on the first floor. And by the middle of May, there were 6 of us left on that floor. Everybody else had COVID or passed away.
Wow. What an ordeal. My goodness. And again, still isolated, not seeing family as often or at all, I guess, in long-term care. We all lived through it. Those were difficult times.
Well, thank goodness for the computers and
Yeah.
goodness for FaceTime and all that.
Yeah.
And my family would come, but it had to be a window visit.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that was a lot to deal with, but then during that time or earlier than that, you had met Laura Lee, who works with Community Living Toronto, and she started understanding your story and working with you. Can you talk about that?
Okay. Well, I started seeing her, I think, September of 2014, because when I went in a long-term care home, I went in there with no money, with
Right.
no income, and they were charging me $1,600 a month rent
Wow.
with no income. So I think there was another agency that had come to visit and said that we are going to make sure you have income coming in. And we're going to get services for you. And I think at that time I did apply at community living. Laura Lee came out in September. We started filling in CPP disability because I couldn't get ODSP. I couldn't get anything else.
Right.
And when we did the CPP disability. And then in January 2015, she asked me if I wanted to apply for SS independent living.
Right.
And we started the application of that.
Right. And Laura Lee, so Laura Lee's an adult protective service worker with Community Living Toronto. And she got involved with you. I guess the long-term care home and the other agency had put you on a list to see people in our APS supports. And we don't have a long wait list there, right? People are dealt with, engaged fairly quickly. So you got to see Laura Lee pretty quickly, and she was able to engage you there. Got on the wait list for supported independent living, which would allow you to leave the long-term care home. And that was I think you said 2014 is when you first went on that list.
2015.
2015. Okay. So what happened after you got on the wait list?
Well, I assumed that it was going to be within a couple of months. I didn't think it was going to be like 8 years waiting. So
it's correctly named a wait list, right?
Yeah.
So you waited 8 years from 2014 until 2022?
21.
21. And then what happened?
And then I assumed that because of COVID, that they weren't going to be accepting people into independent living. I just assumed that. And then April.
Well, plus you'd been waiting a long time already, right?
And plus I turned 60 and I was like, okay, well, this is never going to happen. Then in April, I get a phone call saying, are you still interested? And I'm like, well, yes. Yes, I'm still interested. But I figured, okay, well, they call it to see if I'm still interested. They'll put me in the bottom of the list, give it to somebody that needs it more. And then in May, I get a phone call saying, would you like to come and see the apartment?
Right.
What? Okay, so I had to ask the administrator if I could leave the long-term care home to go.
Oh, of course, because you were still in lockdown, right?
Yes, yes, because of COVID. So they said, yes, not a problem. So my son and I, my oldest son and I, we went and looked at the one-bedroom apartment. It was a brand new building. So I was the first tenant. And I'm like, wow, I love this place. This is fantastic. So they said, okay, but we're still interviewing a bunch of other people.
Right.
So they had 100 people. And it went down to 50.
Okay. And you're still in the group of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made the cut.
They said that we will, the next time will be a video call. And I'm like, okay, well, we looked at it. I'm not going to hear from them again. The end of May, they called me and said, we want to set up an interview. And I'm like, wow, what's going on here? Okay. So we did the interview. Then in June, they called me and said, now we have to start filling in the paperwork and doing the subsidized. And I said, well, I'm not going to get subsidized because I'm getting my husband's pension. They said, well, we're still going to do it. Then July, the subsidized approved me, but I still haven't heard whether I was going to get the apartment.
Okay.
The end of July 25th, I heard they said, yes, they approved you. They've accepted you. You're moving in.
What was that like?
July 25th, I think it was, or July 24th. They told me you've been accepted.
Yep.
And
so how did you feel when you heard that news?
I was going, yes. And so I'm going around yelling, yes. And of course, the staff at the long-term home were sad to see me leaving,
Yeah.
and so then we had to set a date of when I was going to leave.
Yeah.
So the long-term care home, the staff, they knew I was leaving, so they were already prepared for it. So August 14th, I moved into my one-bedroom apartment.
Oh, that's good. So you got approved at the end of July, and then you were able to move in very quickly, or a few weeks after that.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So you've been living there since August of 2021.
Yes.
And how's life changed?
Well, at first, when I moved in there, the quietness, privacy, no PSWs coming in every time. But it was learning to adapt.
Right.
It was learning because last time I was in my own place was in 2013, and
Right.
we were a family. So cooking, I was cooking for 4 people, now cooking for 1. So learning how to do things on my own was the hardest part.
Because you were, excuse me, when you were living in your home, you were independent, you were, taking care of a family, and you were doing all things, you were self-sufficient.
Yeah.
After 8 long years in a long-term care facility, those skills, you'd forgotten them. You hadn't used them as much. You probably remembered them, but hadn't done them in a while. So that was a bit of an adjustment getting back in.
Yes, yes. And then I have PSW on call 24 hours a day.
Great.
They come and help me with whatever I need.
Like in the building, or are they
Yeah.
out? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
No, inside the building, because
Great.
it's through access.
Okay. So it's a much more based on what you need, not just on living in an institution that has those things, sort of like you said, people interrupting you when you don't need to be, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. So that's quite the journey. Like you've been through quite an ordeal.
Yes.
What else? Now you've picked up, you're an accordion player, but you're also a knitter. And I gather the knitting, you talked about the knitting coming a bit later, and you've really sort of developed that hobby has turned into some work for you.
Yes. Yes. Well, back in 2016, I went to Creative Village, and I started the painting, and then I went to the knitting, and then I went to volunteering.
Right.
And the knitting. And when Kathy had retired, Harold had asked me if I wanted to work there, and I'm like, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not?
So you now work, it was at Creative Village, but Creative Village is closed, and it's you mentioned it's at the Junction?
At Community Junction, yes.
Okay. And you're doing a knitting class there. How often are you running them?
Once a week.
Great. So you're teaching people, passing on the passion for knitting to others.
Yes,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Fantastic. That's good. And you're seeing your kids and stuff now?
My youngest son, I see him almost every weekend.
Great.
And my oldest son, maybe whenever he's available.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So that's quite an impactful story, Mary, and I'm really glad that has worked out for you. At the same time, I'm sorry that it took so long for things to come together, because that is a tremendously long amount of time to wait. And those intervening 8 years where you were in a long-term care home, not appropriately, right? You were there because there was nothing else. And now you're in a much better place, living a much more fulfilling life. You seem like a positive, optimistic person, so I'm sure you made the best of that time. And you did mention when we were chatting earlier that what you do miss about the long-term care home is that the people that were involved with you on a regular basis were people that you got to know and become friends with, and miss the connection.
Yes. So I mean, the staff was fantastic. A lot of the PSWs and the nurses, they were fantastic. And
Great.
yeah, I miss them.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, because a lot of the residents that I knew had passed away
Right.
through COVID. So
Right. So now you're also doing something else with Community Living Toronto. You've become involved with our influencers, right? And our influencers is a group of people that are interested in advocating or are passionate about certain things, and disability supports being one, but also just other passions that they've got in their life. How did you hear about the influencers, and how did you get involved?
Okay, well, actually, it was Laura Lee that sent an email saying that would you be interested in being a CLTO influencer? And at first, I looked at it and I'm like, this is nothing. But then I looked at it again
Right.
and I listened to the video. And I said to Laura Lee, you know what? This might be something I'm interested, because I have to advocate for my youngest son all the time. So I said, this is just perfect for me. So we started doing the interview and just went right from there. And here I am.
Here you are. Great. Now, I heard you present at a conference in the fall, so you've started to present and talk more. What else have you been doing with the influencers?
Well, we do the live stream once a month.
Yeah.
And we also do our meeting once a month.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a lot of videos,
Good.
personal videos. They just did November the 8th, they did a music video.
Yeah. Were you
y-
involved with the Candy Crush candy salad thing?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I don't know this meme. I'm not up on all the stuff, but it's a TikTok meme where people make a salad, but not with any kind of fruit or vegetable, but with a bunch of different type of candies.
Yes.
So can you describe that video?
Well, we all got a bag of fishies or swarmies or something like that. And each of us would have the bag open and we would say our name and we would take the bag and dump it into the bowl.
Right.
So this whole bowl was full with different candies.
Did you actually eat it at the end of that? That's not on the video, but did you eat it, or was it?
Well, yeah, they asked if we wanted some of it, and
Okay.
that kind of stuff doesn't appeal to me.
I know it sounds a little sweet, but
It's sour.
Yeah, sweet and sour, true. Now that video, last I heard, which was a while ago, it's been seen 3.4 million times on
Yeah.
TikTok and shared tens of thousands of times. And a lot of comments came in that were quite complimentary of the work of you as influencers doing that work. And it was really quite uplifting. Oh, there we go. From Anne Marie said it's 4.4 million people have seen it
Wow.
now. So really cool. Talk about influencing in a positive way. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. I got a couple more questions. And again, with everything you've been through throughout your life, but especially in the last, since your fall and before that, is there sort of a lasting impact or memorable moment that you can take from the last 10 or 15 years of your life that you'd like to that stands out for you?
The last 10 or 15 years.
Or it doesn't even have to be that. It's up to you. What's a memorable moment that you cherish when you think of something that's because I'm sure you're an optimistic person, but are there times when you just think of something that makes you smile or that you remember fondly?
When the long-term care home celebrated my husband and I's 25th wedding anniversary.
Excellent.
They went out of the way to make it memento.
Great.
Very lovely.
Excellent. That's great to hear. Final question that we ask everybody. What does belonging mean to you, Mary?
Belonging means that, when I come to community living, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like that this is a special place and nobody is centered out. Everybody is treated as one. Other organizations that I've been into, you're isolated. You're not part of their group. You're not part of their organization. You're by yourself. So I always had a connection with community living.
Great, great. Nice way to end this discussion. I know it's sometimes hard to tell your story and be very open, but people get a lot from that, from learning what others have gone through. So I'm really glad, and that you've been so open around sharing your story with us in this conversation, but also sharing your story in our annual report. And I know you've talked about it quite openly. I believe and have seen that you are an inspiration to many people in our community, and really glad that you've chosen to take a role as an influencer in a sort of formal way. I think you've been influencing people for good for many years, but it's good to see you taking a formal role and advocating and outreaching and sharing your story, because it is inspirational and really, really great to hear.
Absolutely. And I hope I can help more people.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And we'll end there.
Thank you, Brad and Mary. It is uplifting to learn how Mary adapted to do things on her own. Hopefully, some of the people will join you in one of your knitting classes that you do once a week at Community Junction. Thank you so much for sharing your story. As we come to an end, I would like to thank all our presenters today. It was a pleasure to have you with us and to hear your updates. Many thanks to Brad for facilitating our Community Unplugged session, and a special thank you to Mary, our CLTO influencer, for joining us today. Our next Family and Friends update will be recorded and released on December 16th, and we hope to see you for our live webinar in January 2025 after the holiday season. We wish you a wonderful festive season. We would like to end by highlighting the upcoming International Day of Persons with Disabilities on December 3rd, a day and certainly beyond to raise awareness and celebrate the achievements of people with disabilities. This year's theme is amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future. And now the video with messages from some of our CLTO influencers focusing on International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Let us keep making a difference, and together we can continue to create a society where everyone belongs, a society where everyone is valued. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Here is the video. Thank you.
Happy International Day for Persons with Disabilities, and be proud who you are. Everyone should be respected in their communities. We can be who we want to be.
My name is Sam. I have autism, but it doesn't define me as a person, and I will always stand up for people with different abilities. I believe everyone with different abilities who is queer should belong in a happy and positive society.
I am Lorraine. I am a happy person and I don't let things get me down. I just want to keep on going and be happy. We should strive together for mutual benefit and understanding for a positive society.
Hi, my name's Nelson. I've been in a wheelchair all my life. With my wheelchair, I can access my community and it gives me freedom. I would love to live in a community where everyone is equal and have equal opportunities.
Hi, my name is Farah. thing. It for is for a for great day for to bring for thing. To bring for thing awareness of thing about for disabilities. And for the it for should be of the a for part of who for the who we are. To me, having for the a of disability is for fashionable to me.
My name's Joshua Bloom, and I'm also on the autism spectrum disorder just like Sam. We are all human, we are all equal. Treat others how you want to be treated and have a happy International Disability Day.